I have thousands of hours of experience. Let's see how I do. First thing I noticed is that Minecraft added leaves. What? Even OP worlds have humble beginnings. I mean, seriously, even pros live through the Stone Age. I spent most of the first day just chopping some trees. I don't know how, but I found a ruined portal inside of a cave. I spent a lot of time around here because I could find iron on the surface. I am not staying out at night, so sheep, you gotta go. No problem with sleeping outside, the mobs won't bother me. Next morning I did some casual exploring. I love how this grass looks. I was also able to pick up some melons, so I don't have to kill any fish today. I also found a very large cave that I'm not ready for. Let's just say the reward was worth the risk. Seems like they changed mob generation. Zombies kept falling from the sky. Then I quickly figured out it's just a zombie spawner. I got a notch apple from that, which encouraged me to go deeper. I even found the deep dark. I am not hanging out down here. Then I found the first of what would be many diamonds. This might be my most successful trip of all time. I had to ditch some junk because I didn't have enough room. I was able to get full diamond armor and tools. I am not kidding. And I was not cautious. I did a lot of water bucket clutches. I only started running into monsters on the way up. I even found a mine shaft. What is this seed? I would explore it, but I had almost a stack of diamonds by this point. Let's go home. I also ate nearly all my watermelon, so I had to get more. I also spent some more time exploring. Maybe I'll find a village. And that's exactly what I found later that day. I trapped all the villagers so that they wouldn't die at nighttime. Yes, I even trapped the nitwits. I promised they're gonna be useful for something. I was down in the cave so long, even phantoms started to spawn. On day 5, I started collecting some of the hay bales. They'd be good food for later. I also spent some time building a mine shaft underneath the ocean. It was swarmed with insects, as you can obviously see. I spent the better part of 3 days down here, and I don't regret a single one, especially since I found another spawner. This one would be more useful to me. Most of my footage just looked like this, so I'm gonna cut forward a bit. It was a very big cave, with lots of monsters. I found another 20 diamonds while I was down there. Oh my gosh. I'm not even kidding, I think we're ready for the nether. So I started building another portal just outside my house. There's no forest nearby, so I started mining the wood from the houses. The Crimson Forest is pretty dangerous, but I took proper precautions. I forgot that I needed some gravity blocks to help me get around. I'm just glad hoglins are afraid of nether portals. And warped fungus too. That helped a lot. I was kinda surrounded by lava, so I decided to start tunneling. Red vines, yay! What now? I went to the top of the bastion and started placing gravity blocks. Then I used them to get into the treasure part of the bastion. This is still very dangerous. I get to mine all these gold blocks and I don't even have to look behind me. If this netherrack wasn't here, I would definitely be dead. And the chests were absolutely packed. What is this? This piglin picked up a gold block and didn't give me anything for it. On the way back, I started crafting smithing templates because I'd had that many diamonds. I'm just glad the fear of warped fungus is universal. I don't have a good way to get overworld wood, so I just got nether wood. I also found some ancient debris while mining around. I am absolutely not ready for this. When I made it back home, I had high hopes. I might as well keep exploring the nether while I'm good at doing it. This trip was a lot more dangerous, especially since I crossed over a few lava lakes. But you can see just on the horizon, the Nether Fortress. As you can see, I was extremely cautious. I've died this way a few times. I very quickly dug into a blaze spawner. I was not careful around these guys because the shield does most of the work. That wasn't super good logic because I nearly died. I also grabbed some nether wart. I'm not going to need this for a while, I might as well grab it though. There was also a wart forest pretty close by, so I decided to kill some ender pearl generators. When you get the enderman in a boat, they're pretty much useless to attack against you. As you can see, it's trying to teleport away, but it can't even leave the boat. A few minutes later, I hit the enderman motherlode. I went from 7 to 17 ender pearl. I also wasn't recording, but I got some fletchers and some arrows. And this is everything I'm taking to beat the ender dragon on day 13. Without hesitation, I threw my first ender eye. Now I have to go over this mountain. It led me back to spawn where I found a jungle temple. None of this stuff helps me. It also led me to a cave that I really wish I explored before I got full diamond. I also did this sick water bucket clutch. I am not doing this again. About 1300 blocks away, it led me to a birch forest, and it didn't take long for me to dig straight into the stronghold. This library is also pretty helpful. Saves me a lot of leather and a lot of sugarcane. My recording completely froze, so I'm using footage from an old attempt. I broke the crystals on the top of the tower, used a bunch of ender pearls to get down when the dragon tried to attack me with his breath, and simply attacked him in the middle. This fight's not hard. I was also way better with the bow on my new attempt. And there it is, we beat the ender dragon, and we still have 85 days to go. And both times I did not forget the dragon egg, even though there's no real use for it. Then I went through the diamond-shaped portal using a bucket of water and some blocks. And this is where I died actually on my old attempt. I felt better prepared, even though I had the same gear as I did last time. These shulkers are insanely dangerous. I almost died on this attempt as well. But I boxed myself in, lowered my heart rate, and continued. Now we're bridging over to the boat. And there's a very good reason we're doing this. Inside of there, I found the elytra. That's the whole reason I'm here. Not really the only reason. Shulker boxes are insanely helpful too. With my increased storage capacity and ability to fly, I decided to go home, not before reading the end credits first. I'm just kidding. I needed some of these bookshelves, and I didn't have enough inventory space when I went in. Now, we're going back. Why is there XP here? Now I can just use rockets and fly back home. Transportation is officially broken. I also got some more netherwood, because I don't have a forest near me, and I'm too lazy to fly to one. I also got some sand from the nearby beach. It's not really a beach anymore. And some lava that was conveniently placed right there. I'm building a raid farm, but I'll show you what that is. And we're trapping him inside this glass box to live a life of fear. You can see how much he didn't want that by how quickly he ran out. What more is there to want? There's a job to have and a place to sleep. I also started covering up all the places where raiders can spawn. I would hate to start fishing raiders out of caves, so I was very thorough. I also tested out a magma block design in creative mode. It didn't really work, so instead I'm making the classic drop chute right here. I also set up the lava chamber, because I know Ravengers are not making it down here. And then I started digging the place where I would hang out. I nearly drowned 2 or 3 times. Alright, tomorrow's the day. Let's get some sleep. And it's not the day, because we need to find a pillager outpost. I mostly just ran around biomes where the pillager outpost could be, and I found one. Well, buried in a mountain. But I found one. It quickly killed their leader, and was confused why I didn't have the bad omen effect. It's also nighttime. I totally regret doing this. Also realized this thing was about 2,000 blocks from my base. I spent most of the night running, and realized my drop chute wasn't finished. So you have to drink this ominous bottle, and then the raid starts. On the very first wave, I could not find what the last pillager was. I rang the bell, ran around, tried everything, but I could not find him. It took until the wee hours of the morning to find him, and he was in a cave. Now I know where to look if this ever happens again. I had to come out of my hidey hole to guide him all into the killing chamber. This was really dangerous because most of these mobs can kill me in 2 hits. I also couldn't find where the last raider was again, but I know where to look. He was in that exact same cave, but at least it wasn't dangerous. I also used the bell to see where all of them were. I think this is a great feature. When the Ravengers started showing up, I got really nervous. But we finally got the Hero of the Village achievement, and some Totems of Undying. That was the only reason I even set up that farm in the first place. With my newfound confidence, I started flying around looking for a swamp. It took me all day, but I found one. It was very dangerous, because more than just slime spawn. I'm just glad it's a full moon. I had to let the other mobs follow me out into the water. I just do not want to deal with them. On day 26, I had about 35 slime balls. I also found a rune portal on the way back. Consider it a reward for not dying. I then also ran into some powdered snow. I gotta take the good with the bad. Speaking of taking the good with the bad, it's already nighttime. I spent the whole day walking. It wasn't a total loss though. I also ran out of readily accessible trees in the nether, so I had to get some from the overworld. It wasn't that bad, but I did have to go over a whole mountain. When I made it back, I started cooking all of my sand. I spent most of day 28 just crafting random stuff. I also needed some obsidian, but this pickaxe is just so slow. So I decided to build my enchanting table. I had enough wood for it. I had enough levels to enchant all of my tools and armor. I also totally forgot how to repair pickaxes. You'd need an end. Now I'm back in the nether. I need soul sand. I'm building a guardian farm. Oh yeah. I also added a door on the opposite side of my house so that I can enchant easier. I added a little fence that didn't really help me out that much. I also built a little mine because I didn't have enough iron for this build. Yeah, maybe I need coal too. There was a giant cave underneath my base. I didn't find any diamonds, but I found a lot of iron, which is really what I was down here to do. I placed down a bunch of furnaces to fill the cave with fumes. I even found another mine shaft. It's not a GGAdvance mining trip without some old-fashioned diamond mining. I also found my 3rd spawner. It was a skeleton spawner, so I didn't want anything to do with it. Guys, I think we have enough spawners here. What the heck is this? Now we're flying to the nearest jungle we have. Good thing we have one. Scaffolding is going to be very helpful for us later on. And on day 32, I went to go mine more obsidian. How exciting. I think I'm going to need this whole pocket. It's nighttime already. We also needed more trees. I then traded with my Fletchers. I don't have any footage of me getting my mending villagers, so here's some footage of me flying around. I needed some lily pads or else this farm was not going to work. And here we are. I did not have a fun time building this. I had to make a few scaffolding squares, and I couldn't even do that without getting hit. I also misplaced some obsidian, so I'm going back to the mainland to get a cow. This tiny little platform you see here took me 20 minutes. I'm not building one of these again. Alright, the hardest part of it is now done. As you can see, I would just get swarmed with guardians, and then I'd have to swim away. Now we're building the killing chamber. As you can tell by the 56 chests in our hotbar, this farm's gonna make a lot. A lot of what exactly? Now I see why I needed 4 stacks of glass. We built a portal on the top, so now we're towering to the nether roof. And there you go. If we fall, we're taking a totem. I didn't have enough scaffolding for the farm, so I had to break some underneath me. Now we're kind of boxing them in. After setting up all the redstone and the killing chamber, I think our farm is complete. We had to add some soul sand, but as you see, it's already working very effectively. Yeesh. I then repositioned my enchanting table, because I'm not making another one. I also spent some time trading. I have a mending villager. You don't see him. So most of the days were spent waiting for the trades to reset. And here we are, day 41. We have almost all the mending books we need. We didn't have enough wood. As you can tell, this farm is very loud. After some combining of helmets, you can tell we're very strong. I enchanted everything. I don't want any weakness, especially since my sword has 7 enchantments on it. One of the last things for me to max out was my boots, and they are gorgeous. I figured might as well go at it and get some ancient debris. I found a lot. I spent all of day 44 mining. I could just smell the well, full netherite armor. I even made my hoe into netherite. I then fixed up some of the village pathways. It doesn't undo all the damage I've done before this. I also started lighting up some of these caves and found some diamonds while I was at it. And I'm never not gonna mine diamonds, even if I don't need them. Why did the villagers decide to build the well inside of the cave? I also figured out my smite axe insta-kills skeletons. If I don't want to go to the forest, let's make the forest come to us. So that's exactly what I did. I spent the whole day collecting oak saplings. And these fumes were not good for my lungs, but they were good for my ego. Yeah, the rest of day 47 was basically just spent crafting random stuff. I also spent the night lighting my base up. I need a better place for my villagers to stay. I think they deserve this. I also made a makeshift sugarcane farm. I also made a farm right underneath it. This was not very exciting footage. I also placed down some dirt and then used a hoe on all of it. I then built a wall, a small wall, a great wall, but simply still just a wall. I didn't have enough seeds even from a whole day of gathering grass. I then started shearing some sheep. This is the only way villagers can breed. But villagers can't breed if there's no villagers, so I gotta bring some of those back. I was extra careful with my mending library. I even did this in the nighttime. But instead of using job stands, I used beds. First harvest for crops came in today. I got nearly 1,000 cobblestone from digging this place out. I wanted to do something more mellow, so I just chopped down more trees. My entire compound is surrounded by them. I also couldn't get enough of how much damage this axe does. I had so many saplings that I just placed as many as I could next to each other. I also got a lot of emeralds today, but I know there's a better way of doing it. I also found a second village. I'm not going to need this one because I already have a villager breeder. What are you doing at the end portal? What am I doing at the end portal? This was to mine some obsidian. I'm building an iron farm and it requires a lot of portals. On day 56, this is all I did. On day 57, this is all I did. My screen froze. I also killed some endermen off screen. I also got some glass, because I always need more glass. I also did some achievement hunting. Day 58 was a fun day, but I did have to deal with phantoms. I didn't say it was a perfect day. Day 59 was just like the previous one. More crafting, more chopping down trees, more crafting, and more trading with villagers. Ooh! And I went into my netherite mines for a single lava bucket. Nice. I spent the rest of day 60 clearing out the tree monster in the middle of my compound. My compound's not a sanctuary yet, but we're getting there. I also needed more iron, but you really don't want to see that. I needed more villagers, but I didn't have enough beds, so I locked a few of them away to reset the mob cap. All hope is not lost though, I can still get more beds. And my animal shaving continued until day 63. Dinner! Breeding, multiplying. I'm just glad we have a higher capacity for villagers now that we have more beds. I also realized that my achievements reset. I guess that's not a goal of mine anymore. My way of taking my anger out was killing all the iron golems on this mountain. Totally not because it would make my iron farm less efficient. Iron farm construction officially started on day 65. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just hope this turns out well. I'm gathering some leaves. This will help me get villagers in. I need 12 villagers per layer, and there's going to be 3 layers. For motivation, I just looked at my guardian farm. On day 67, I trapped 12 villagers into 4 1x1 modules. There were so many villagers in the breeder that I kept getting a surplus. The first guy I tried to trap walked straight off the platform. He knows what I'm trying to do. All of your efforts are futile. And just repeat the process. Look how excited they were. Boating these guys in was not a quick process. Some of them gave me problems and didn't go into the containment chamber properly. There you go. This is what each chamber is going to look like. And I did this well into the nighttime of day 68. On day 69, we're still getting villagers in. I'm just glad we were able to get them in by the end of the day. Oh look, it's the end of the day, and we're getting zombies. It wasn't too hard. Find a zombie with human capabilities, and then get him into your platform using dirt. To celebrate, I did some mining. Now we're building the platforms for where the iron golems are going to spawn. I wasn't even 5 minutes into building the platforms until I realized one of my zombies died. Well, no matter, let's just get him in. Oh crap. I spent all night trying to get a zombie, and I didn't get one. Iron golems kept spawning underneath my farm, killing the zombie that I would get for the farm. So essentially I just started going into random places and trapping them. I probably still have some of them trapped. My trapdoor wasn't facing the right way. Now I can get them in easy. So then I started building the rest of my platform with ease. And then I realized another one of my zombies died. I am really getting tired of this, but I realized they needed a block above their head to keep them from burning. Whenever I reload the chunks, the zombie's armor despawns. So then they die. The portal building was pretty easy though. Not a single iron golem spawned. Then I mob-proofed the top with trapdoors. No time to rest though, we're getting straight into building the next platform. And I unintentionally built a monster farm underneath my spawning platforms. Building the second layer was a lot easier though. but it was still a lot of work. And there's the partially completed second floor. It's glorious. That also means we had to change where the villagers were going, so we're doing that right now. On day 74, the second round of villagers began, and they were more than eager to oblige. I mean, we were already nearly done with it by the end of the night, and a wandering trader spawned up here. Unfortunately, it took me all night. Again, and getting the zombies in was pretty easy, especially since none of them died. It was a really rainy day 76, that was part of it. So we were able to spend the whole day getting zombies in. It wasn't even the next day, but we were building the next layer of portals. And lighting the portals made it official. Here we are in the third layer. Do I really need to explain myself? And it took all of day 77 just doing what I've told you. I spent a long time messing around with resource packs. I'll show you if I get enough likes. Also, this creeper created some work for me. My tunnel was so tall that villagers started drowning on the way up. And today my fire aspect sword wasn't working in my favor. And now we have all 36 villagers in the farm. 36! This iron golem also spawned and nearly gave me a heart attack, but the zombie didn't die somehow. And there we are, both zombies before day 80. I don't want any stray iron golems to spawn, so I'm just going to delete this dirt platform. And in place of it, we made another nether portal platform. This one went smoothly, and now we're building a redstone clock on the bottom of the farm. This wasn't really too hard, since I have experience with these. Now I must sleep amongst my poverty. My contraption had to go up the side of the scaffolding that I placed. While trying to build a killing chamber, I accidentally hit a zombie piglin. Boy, this is disgusting! After that encounter, I went to the Guardian farm to cool off. I was able to lead a sheep over here. Maybe this is gonna work. Well, I lit the nether portal, and the sheep and the boat went through. I don't think the iron golems are gonna need anything to push them but themselves. I also made a very generous storage system. This is supposed to produce a lot of iron. And on day 83, we were officially done. And now we're mining some more sand. I think you know exactly why. I should probably stop doing this. This is getting repetitive. But surely the iron farm isn't good as they say it is. What? Because of how well it did, I have a new way of getting emeralds. But first we need more. And by more, I mean villagers. And by villagers, I mean yes. This thing produces so much iron, I had enough for a beacon already. But we can't craft a beacon without the beacon itself. I was gonna have to fly around the nether a lot for this one, so I needed some gunpowder. And on day 87, we were deep in a cave. This is a terrible idea. And even while hugging a creeper, it only took 6 hearts. Well, that was a weird detour. When you level up the toolsmith, each one of them is gonna trade me 3 iron for 1 emerald. I got about 32 emerald blocks over these 2 days of trading. And on day 89, I realized I forgot something. I flew everywhere, but I couldn't find any turtles. Apparently this is the first time I've ever bred a mob before. And then I took off to build the wither skeleton farm for the last part of 100 days. And about 10,000 blocks away, this is what the overworld side looks like. My nether spawn was very, very dangerous. I found a safe spot and decided to start mining some of the nether bricks. And then I pulled one of the most single-digit IQ moves I've ever done. I had to eat my enchanted golden apple to avoid using my first totem. I didn't really waste an enchanted golden apple. Building this platform without it would have been really annoying, but I was still on fire for most of day 92 anyways. Now we're putting all these walls here so that magma cubes don't spawn. On day 93, I finally had the confidence to make the whole thing 3 layers tall. I then trapped an iron golem in the center to draw wither skeletons in. Okay, Ghast, I've had quite enough of you. I'm pretty sure I've gotten this achievement before. And praise God I haven't fallen off of one of these towers yet. I had to build another tower in the overworld about the same height. It's crazy to think that this platform's gonna be full of wither skeletons here in a minute. I then went down and lit the farm portal to make it official. It's day 96, and I don't think this farm works. It's day 96, and the farm does work. This thing was so efficient that I got about 1 wither skeleton skull every 30 seconds. And it wasn't long before I had a stack. I stayed down here for another day, just because it's so fun to kill these guys. Look at all of the loot. My starter house is basically all chests now. While having the soul sand, I had a pretty close encounter with death. I took one look at all that iron and forgot I ever even had a near miss. And all of this soul sand is for the withers I'll be killing. Now we're at the end. How did this happen? I know it's kind of cheating to kill them underneath the end portal, but it's not cheating if it hasn't been patched. And I spent all of day 99 killing withers. I also got some obsidian. This is proof that I mined the whole pillar. And on day 100, I needed about 2 stacks of glass, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm gonna build my first beacon, and you're gonna watch. It didn't even really get that much harder when I got into deep slate level, but it did take all day. And I spent about 5 minutes literally just placing iron blocks. And now we have a 6-tuple beacon. 200 days is gonna be really exciting. Stay tuned.